call the regular. I'd like to call the regular board meeting of June 4th, 2025 to order at 6 p.m. Shufelt is excused. Westfall.
Here.
Block.
Here.
Fields.
Here.
Moore is here. Mordarski is excused, and Morris.
Here.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic. Let's start with a student representative from Kenyon. Mrs. Sweet, are you here? Or student, oh, there, right there.
Linda, put your mic closer.
Good evening. My name is Ashley Cameron, and I'm a third grade teacher at Kenyon, along with my colleagues Savannah Swain, Miranda Berry, who cannot be here today, and then Stacy Burns. We oversee the student council together. As former students who were involved in student council throughout our years in school, we had similar visions in how we wanted to run and maintain a successful program. In order to be a part of the student council, we had an application process where third through fifth grade students filled out an application that included information such as why they wanted to be in student council and how they would help the school. When choosing, we went to teachers to ask for recommendations as well. We received over 50 applications. Choosing representatives for our student council was difficult. This year we accepted 25 students. As leaders, one vision we have with the student council was to ensure that they were representing our school in a positive way. In order to ensure that things were happening, we created a student parent teacher contract. This contract included expectations that all students should be following in order to stay in the program. Together, we believe that student council members should maintain high expectations. Those expectations include being safe, respectful, responsible, and kind. We believe that our members should demonstrate these expectations at all times during the school day. Our contract highlights these expectations. This contract has helped students bring back the excitement and sense of privilege it is to be a part of the student council. Along with the contract, we believe that building relationships and teaching great teamwork skills is essential to our success. We've started off our student council meetings by building relationships and establishing community. We wanted our students to have a positive relationship with us as well as each other. We have continued to establish and foster these important values within each of our student council activities. Our student council is self-supporting. We raise all of our funds to support our service projects. We raise funds in multiple different ways. One of our first fundraisers every year is selling Boograms. These were Halloween-themed treats that students could send to one another or take home for their families. We sold over 700 of those. The profits from the Boograms went towards blessings in a bag. These bags were put together by our student council, and they included a warm hat, gloves, snacks. These bags were distributed to a homeless shelter through our music teacher, Mrs. Brady. We have also held fundraisers with Bubba's 33, where a portion of these proceeds will come back to the student council. This will help us in completing other projects, such as providing walkie-talkies for our staff, restocking the recess cart, and providing snacks for our students taking the M-Step this year. One of our favorite fundraisers that we do annually is the cereal drive. For a week, we collect cereal donations to donate to the Taylor Family Resource Center. This year, we collected over 300 boxes of cereal. We also turned it into a competition, so the class with the highest amount of cereal ends with a pizza party. Our last community service project that we helped with was assembling tickets for our annual Kenyon Family Fun Night. We are always jumping in to help in any way that we can.
Along with all of these wonderful projects and fundraisers, we will also be taking student input on other opportunities to better our school and community for next year. The one thing we do know for certain is that this is a wonderful group of kids. They are a true example that you are never too young to make a difference. Mrs. Cameron, Ms. Berry, Ms. Burns, and I are extremely proud of their dedication and how they demonstrate responsibility and greatness every day. We would like to recognize all of our student council members today. Did anyone come in late? We have two, right? We have Bailey Spurlin, who is one of our student council members, and then Jack. And then I would like to acknowledge all of our students who are not here today. These are the rest of our student council members. We have McKinley Pruitt, Leo Kuna, Marcy Burnett, Viviana Kincaid, Eden Cook, Isabella Spaniel, Colton Brzezowski, Daniel Sadler, Ryder McNamee, Kinsley Wynn, Keelan Davis, Abby Bell, Paul Eliobua, Ryder Leach, Joshua Teal, Sophia Damron, Abigail Lakin, Nicholas Ross, Addie McSpadden, Maddie McSpadden, and Rita Al-Shatawi. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, ladies, for taking such good care of our children, especially Mrs. Burns, who handles or puts up with my granddaughter every day. So thank you to all of you for the extra mile. Okay, it's up to, no, now we have good news. Is Jennifer Budziak here? There she is.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jenny Budziak, and I'm the PE teacher at Moody Elementary. This year, with the help of Scott Fisk and Adam Brown, I started the 100 Mile Club at Moody. 60 students in kindergarten through 5th grade participated in the 100 Mile Club. 3 mornings a week from October to the middle of May, students arrived at 8 a.m. and ran, jogged, or walked until 8:20. Members logged a combined total of 2,630 miles. The 100 Mile Club allowed students to start their morning being active. It also allowed them to walk or run off some before school energy. Students had fun with their friends and earned rewards for the miles they completed. Most importantly, though, members of the 100 Mile Club got a head start on the long-term benefits of an active lifestyle. I would also like to thank several individuals. Without the help of parent volunteers like Evelyn Straub, Amanda Green, Jason Corby, and Ashley Alderman, the 100 Mile Club would not be possible. Every morning, these adults encouraged and ensured the safety of our Moody Elementary students. I would also like to thank Mrs. Hernandez for her positive support throughout the school year. Finally, but most importantly, I would like to recognize several Moody Elementary students who ran 75 miles or more. These students should be incredibly proud of their perseverance, determination, and hard work. The first student I would like to recognize is 3rd grader Rochelle Dillard. Rochelle is not able to make it today, but she ran 85 miles this year at Moody Elementary. The next student I would like to recognize is 3rd grader Omar Walliver. He ran 96 miles. Omar, will you come up, please? Next up, I would like to recognize 4th grader Ryder Green. She ran a total of 90 miles this school year. Next, we have Omar's brother, Carmelo Wolver. He ran 79 miles, and he's a 4th grader at Moody. And finally, I have 2 students who ran over 100 miles this school year. Mia Straub had 109 miles, and she's a 4th grader. And then finally, we had one more 4th grader, Kaden Bustle, and he ran 113 miles this year. Congratulations, students. You certainly deserved this. All of your hard work and perseverance definitely paid off through the school year. I hope you guys come out next year and run with me. Thank you, guys.
Did somebody get a picture? Keep up the good work, kiddos. And now we have, Anna Brown and Scott Fisk, and they're representing Randall Elementary, the 100 Mile Club.
All right, thank you so much. Microphone's a little low for this big, tall guy. Thank you all for having us here this evening, as we celebrate the accomplishments of 16 of our members. We have a total of 35 members in our club this year. The 16 that you see here tonight have achieved 75 miles or more, right? It's important to acknowledge the others that participated as well. Our club started on, well, third week in September, and we finished the third week in May. So all of our students have chosen to come to school at 8 a.m. Okay. And any kind of weather, rain, snow, whatever have you, and sacrifice themselves for a cause of reaching 100 miles. And so that's certainly worth respect and admiration. Okay. Our club did 2,393 miles, which is pretty good. We started last year, we had what we call the 300-mile club, and that is students that achieved 100 miles all 3 years. Like Jen's club, ours goes grades 3 through 5. And last year we had 2 initial members. This year we have 3 new members. Okay. And we're going to thank all those members tonight as well. Before I begin announcing all of our worthy recipients of their certificates and their awards, I want to thank several individuals who are part of the club today, starting with my good friend and teaching partner, Mr. Adam Brown. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Julia, please stand up. Thank you, Julia. Okay. Frank and Sam Yulana, please stand up. Okay, and Mr. Dennis Sirens, please stand up. Would not have had this club without their help this year, so thank you again. And without further ado, we'll move on to our recipients. I'm going to read it in reverse order and I'll also tell you their miles. Okay, starting with Lou Stokowski, 75 miles. Okay, Brody LaPointe, 75 miles. Okay. Aubrey Granda, 75 miles. Okay. Olivia Carney, 79 miles. Okay. Darren Smith, 88 miles. Oh, over there, Darren. Jackson Taylor, 90 miles. Okay. Jack Childress, 93 miles. Okay, now we're getting into the 100 miles. The shirts that you see, all the club members achieved by reaching 25 miles. At 50 miles, they get a pencil. At 75, they get a bracelet. And these recipients I'm going to read off have achieved 100 miles and they will be receiving their gold medal. Okay, starting with Noah Radke, 100 miles even. Ryan Weldy, 103 miles. Landon Doty, 106 miles. Okay. DJ Sirens, 106 miles. Congratulations. Okay. Dylan King, 107 miles. Okay. Parker Capabianco, 111 miles. Okay. Now, these last 3 I'm going to call out have achieved not only 100 miles this year, but they're other 2 years in the club, entering now our 300-mile club. Starting with Jake Morris, 115. Okay. Miguel Flores, 129 miles. And finally, last but not least, 132 miles, Nick Lada. Thank you, boys and girls, for a wonderful year.
Have some pictures.
Good job, everybody.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks. Yep, see you soon. Mrs. Mazeros, don't leave just yet. I have a question. Thank you to the 100 Mile Club. I also wanted to mention that I had the opportunity to be at Randall a week or so ago where I had 10 or 12 kids present their Made in Michigan project. And so I'm not sure if that's ongoing. Mrs. Mazeros? Yeah. I just want to see if it's ongoing.
Yeah.
On the meeting with you. Is the Made in Michigan presentation, is that something that's done now, or is there opportunities? Okay, so it is done. Yeah, I missed the full one, but I did get an opportunity to see probably 10 or 15 presentations, and they were phenomenal. They did a really nice job, so.
It has been a month of celebrating learning. Today we had our family celebration day. I cooked a lot of hot dogs this week.
Okay, all right. But that was my question. Nice job on that. The teachers did a fabulous job with the kids, and it was wonderful listening to them explain their project. So if it's a repeat, then to make sure that,
I think we're sharing for next week everything we had.
okay, very good. Yep, thank you.
Thank
That was all I wanted. You're dismissed now.
Okay.
Okay. Huh? It was, yeah, I had it on my calendar too. The ones I saw that were really just good. Now we're gonna talk about Leader in Me, Mrs. Field.
There we are. The Leader in Me, it was a great program. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I am still unfamiliar with all of the programs. So thank heavens, Ms. Moore was there with me. I'm gonna let her explain how this works.
Yeah, basically the Leader in Me program, we're bringing up leaders, and so they instill some core, values in terms of, an example would be productive, begin with the end in mind, put first things first, just kind of teach them organization, it teaches them leadership skills. And so it's a fabulous program, but we had the opportunity to go out there, go to Moody last week for their end of year celebration. So we appreciated the invite. It was hippie style, peace, love, that type of thing.
I
Great
think
time.
didn't every class perform? for
Every
us?
class performed,
Yeah.
yep, including all of our Pohai
It's
kids.
really good.
Yeah, and so the music teacher put together a nice musical set of things for each grade level, and each grade level had a, one of the skills: sharpen the saw is habit number 7, think, win and win, habit number 4. So each class had, or a grade level had, saying something that goes along with that Anyone else want to add? There were numerous people there. No? Okay. All right, thank you. We're moving on.
I did attend that event. I was a little late to that event, but still welcomed into the building. Was able to get a tour. And it was amazing seeing all the projects that were on the wall and those pop. I'm very familiar with the Leader Lead program, and you can see that it's doing a great impact
Yes.
on that building.
Yes. Anyone else? All right, then we are going to move down.
Okay, item 5, agenda revisions, approval of the agenda policy number 0166. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Moore. Is there support?
Support.
Yes, supported by Ms. Fields. Okay, Mr. Westfall,
Yes.
Ms. Block,
Yes.
Ms. Fields,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Mardarcy is excused. Mr. Morse is a yes. Ms. Schufelt is excused. That carries 5-0. Okay, item 6, recess budget hearing meeting pursuant to Michigan's Open Meetings Act, being Public Act 267 of 1976, and as amended. I move the board recess for the budget hearing meeting. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Fields. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Ms. Moore. Ms. Block,
Yes.
Ms. Fields,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Mardarcy is excused. Mr. Morris is a yes. Ms. Schufelt is excused. Mr. Westfall.
Yes.
Okay, that carries 5-0. We are going into recess for budget hearing at 6:22 p.m.
So takes care of this. Mrs. Hill, when you're ready.
Okay.
Oh, Dr. Hill, I'm sorry.
What did you
Ma'am.
say? Okay, so Matt, is it okay if I run it from? I'm gonna share my screen here. Okay, Matt, do I have control? Trying to share my screen. Okay, thank you. Okay. So did you want both of them together or separate?
I suppose we can hear both of them now, and that way when we get to the discussion, it's a lot easier, a lot quicker going on the discussion.
Both
side.
what?
The final budget amendment for this school year as
Oh,
well
yeah.
as the next
Yeah.
year's. Might as well do it now and
Mhm.
save time when we get back in.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much to the board for the opportunity to present the budgets. Here we go. And this slide just informs us that school districts every year, must submit an annual budget and have it adopted by the Board of Education by July 1st of every year.
And that's all the school districts across the state of Michigan. And then we also have the ability to amend the budget to stay within the appropriated budget from the board. So that's another tool that school districts use. In terms of our final budget, I am requesting from the board the following. In terms of ending revenue, we are ending at $85.6 million. If you look at the final budget column, $85.6 million in terms of revenue for the general fund, with the total expenses being $88.9 million to end the school year. And I am asking the board for permission to appropriate these funds as you see on the screen. Just some notes in terms of the general fund ending fiscal year 24-25, there has been slight adjustments made to the current budget to cover projected end of the school year expenses for summer school and staffing updates. You know, as staff come and go, you're going to have adjustments for utilities. Our utilities are constantly going up. And to cover outstanding invoices and adjustments for severance payouts for staff and other special projects. And I want to specifically note the following funds are included for approval in the Board of Education packet: the general fund, funded programs, capital projects fund, debt service fund, food service funds, student activity funds, and center program funds. All need to be closed out for the current school year. And so this appropriation, these appropriations that are presented this evening is for all those funds listed. And those are all the funds that the school district is currently running. In terms of grant funding, we are ending the school year at $29.5 million, and revenue has to match expenses, expenses being $29.5 million. For food service, we are asking the board for approval to appropriate. Let's see, revenue was $4.1 million, and so we want to be able to expend $4.1 million worth of expenses, and if we don't, it'll go to the fund balance. For center programs, estimated revenue is $6.4 million, and it depends on our final expenses that run through this program. And so we are asking to expend the same amount. In terms of debt funds, we levied $1.9 million. We had $2.9 million worth of debt service funds to be paid out. And we used about $1 million worth of fund balance for debt service funds. One moment. There we go. And we'll roll into next year with a $800,000 balance, which we will continue to use to pay the bond invoices that come in for the bond indebtedness of the district. Capital projects, 1.4 million. This is basically interest that has come in. A total, I'm asking for a total of $16.3 million to be appropriated for this year. And we expect to spend somewhere around there. And whatever we don't spend, it'll go back to the fund balance with a balance of $8.7 million rolling into the next year. And if we don't exactly spend the 16 million because projects have not finished, then it'll roll forward. It'll be in the fund balance for next year and it'll roll forward. Student activities, In terms of our student activity accounts, we currently had a balance of $348,000 of student activity funding. So of course, we set aside the same amount for expenses. And whatever we end the year with in terms of student activity account funding, you know, as the schools do fundraisers and things of that nature through June 30, it will be reflected in this balance, and you'll have an updated fund balance per the audit. And that ends the general fund for the current year. Did anybody have any questions on the current year? Before I go into the proposed budget for 25-26. Okay, fiscal year 25-26 proposed original budgets and L 4029 tax rate requests are as follows. This is our L 4029. And we are currently levying 17.6167 for our operating mills. Like you heard in the presentation earlier, you know, we should be levying 18 mills, but we're only levying currently 17.6167 mills due to the Headley rollback for our operating. And for our debt levy, we are currently levying 0.85, the same as we levied last year. Because we haven't sold any new bonds, so this number will not change at this time. And this is our tax rate millage. Taxable values have increased this year. And so this is the result. In terms of our general fund proposed budget, I went with the governor's recommendation of $10,000, a $10,000 foundation allowance. So the proposed revenue is $87.5 million. And we are asking to appropriate $89.3 million. $89.3 million with the difference due to some special projects that will come through. In terms of my revenue assumptions, again, this is what the breakdown of the revenue that is coming in for the district. In terms of local revenue that comes from the tax levies, it totals to about $18.9 million, and it is 22% of the district's revenue that's coming in to support our programs. In terms of state revenue, the estimated total is $62.9 million, or 72% of the district's operating revenue. In terms of federal sources, it's $14,000, and that's just some interest subsidy that we get from the state for one of the bonds. And in terms of other local revenue, basically it comes from the ISD, and we expect to receive about $5.6 million to support our special ed programming.
How many students did you base the budget on? If you remember.
Sure. Okay, so the budget is based on a blended student count of 5,412 students.
Okay, thank you.
And it's the last bullet there. Revenue has been projected using a blended count of 5,412 students.
Thank you.
And a state foundation allowance of 10,000. As I said before, the projected foundation allowance is 10,000 per Governor Whitmer's executive budget recommendations. And you know, the state doesn't, they don't pass their budget until October.
I know, silly.
So, yeah, so I like to go with the governor's recommendation because, you know, she's gonna
Absolutely.
favor
I just
what
did-
she
yeah.
recommends.
I was just curious as to what, student count we're looking at, what we're basing next year's on in terms of student count. But that's fine. That's a perfect answer to everything.
Okay.
Are you finished or any other questions or, sorry,
And,
there we go.
in terms of expenses, we just basically cover, expected salaries and benefits. And our benefits will change and they will increase in January. So we'll adjust the budget at that time. And we will continue to shop our healthcare costs because that amount is continually going up. And also the cost of our utilities.
Right.
So that is the general fund assumptions, expenditure assumptions and revenue assumptions. And that's our major fund.
Thank you.
And I can stop right there.
Dr. Paul.
I just want to say, like, I know we talked about it last year, this time when I know it was the previous board and that, but it's a good reminder that when we put this budget together, we're putting it based on the information we have at this moment in time. And a lot of this is going to vary as time goes forward. Like student counts, we're basing it on that number of 5,400 students. But potentially when we do count day in October, that could be up, down from there, and then we readjust and we keep coming back to the table and adjust as needed. But we can only go with the best information we have now, and that's what we've put together at this point. Thank you, Dr. Dean.
Yes,
Thank
thank you.
Okay, time to return from recess.
If there's no other question.
Okay, so we return from recess at 6:37. Okay, the strategic plan, Julie Kaminsky. How are you? Okay. Sure. Okay, thank you.
Hi, nice to see you. Good evening. Is the microphone on? Does it seem like it on?
There.
Oh, there it goes. I didn't think it sounded like it was on earlier. So it's wonderful to be back. I am Julie Kaminsky. For those of you that don't know me, I am a consultant for the Michigan Association of School Boards. I've had the pleasure of working with the Taylor School District, the Board of Education on many different occasions over the past probably about a year and a half. The last experience that I've had in working with all of you began as a discussion in the fall around the need for a strategic plan. And I've had the pleasure of working with the Board of Education members of your community, your faculty, your leadership team, parents, other stakeholders throughout this about 6-month process. And tonight I'm happy to say that I'm here to present to all of you the final product of that work for your consideration and ultimately, hopefully, your approval. So in your packets and displayed on the screen is a summary that I'd like to just walk us back through the journey of what the strategic plan entailed and ultimately what the members of the work group, then there were different work groups throughout the process, created as an end product. My role was to facilitate the process and guide the school district through the process. And ultimately, the result that we're going to talk about and is going to be presented here is the work of your community coming together to discuss the current state of the Taylor School District and outlining the vision, the beliefs, the mission statement for the future, as well as the first year plan, very much drilled down to quarterly goals and objectives around the goal statement. So we're going to talk through that process and walk everybody through that. So I'm so used to walking. Does this detach? Okay. I have a hard time standing still. Okay. So displayed here on the screen and of course in your packets, we began this process officially in December of 2024, where the Board of Education, all of you agreed that this was the next step that was most important for your system was to engage in the new strategic planning process. And I was thrilled to be asked to be a part of that. I love working with the Taylor community. It's been a true pleasure. And so officially, it was presented in December and approved in January, and we got to work right away. I worked with your superintendent, Mr. Wegner, through every step of this process. And so a strategic plan through the Michigan Association of School Boards begins with a set of data collection. So we went out to your community, and we'll see in slides in the future, but we won't go there yet. We asked the community to reply to a survey, which was a series of open-ended questions that was made available to everybody really in the school district, whether or not they had parents, students in the system or not, whether they were community members who no longer have children in the system, various stakeholders, government representatives, faculty, staff, you name it, were invited to, including students, to provide that open-ended input. In addition, I came and was here for 2 different days where I had face-to-face input sessions where I talked with groups of students, faculty at the elementary and secondary level, district leaders, Board of Education members, and then also community members as well. In addition, just to be sure we had every opportunity for people to be invited to contribute, we also offered an online session that also gave people an opportunity if the dates of the in-person sessions weren't convenient. Additionally, we gathered a bunch of information about the quantitative data kinds of things, student achievement data, demographic data, school of choice data. And we gathered all of this to be ready for the April 5th retreat. We'll talk about that in just a minute. That was a full Saturday, 8 hours of work with many, many stakeholders throughout the Taylor community. We got a lot accomplished that day. And then we came together once again on April 26th for another Saturday session. This was about 4 hours. We call this the implementation workshop. This is where key leaders and key employees of the Taylor School District came together to really begin to think about what would this look like when it's implemented. So that sort of rubber meets the road kind of conversations. And that led to ultimately the finalization of the plan that was sent in draft form to Mr. Wegner to go over with his leadership team, his executive council, to consider, is that really how we wanted it to look? Were there any edits that you'd like to see? And then ultimately tonight, June the 4th, here, presenting that final plan and seeking your approval. Go forward. So the stakeholder input that I talked about, where we had input sessions, we had online sessions, we had online surveys, and all of those sessions, we asked the identical questions so that the data we were gathering was based on the same questions being asked. This is an opportunity to engage your community, to understand their values and their perceptions, and to use as a decision-making tool. It helped us to assess the things that Taylor schools are doing well, the strengths, the areas that need to be considered for improvement, what might be barriers for implementation, and ultimately helping us to define the next step vision for the district. When we came together for the planning team retreat, I always put up a written agenda. I'm kind of a type A girl, so I like to check things off. And it was a daunting task. Every time you do a retreat for a strategic plan, people come in and they're kind of unsure what it's going to look like, sound like, and feel like to be a part of that work. And at first, the to-do list or the agenda looks daunting. But the reality is, if you trust the process, you trust the facilitation activities, we really are able to move through some impactful work and come to some really cool outcomes as a result of that 8-hour retreat. So we did all kinds of current and planned initiatives examination. We looked at the current vision, mission, and belief statements. We examined the stakeholder input data I talked about, all of that demographic and district qualitative data I talked about. And then we developed new, revised, recommitted to a new vision, a new mission, and a new set of belief statements. We also committed to some strategic planning goal areas and started to even tinker with some goal statements. So that's a lot to do. People get really tired on those 8-hour sessions, but it is always so rewarding to do that work with community members. So if you could go to the next slide, I would like to give credit, and when this shows up in PowerPoint, it actually puts these in rows, so I'm not sure. I think your packet reflects it accurately. Yeah. If you look at your hard copy packet, it looks correct. There's 3 columns. I don't know why it's showing like that there, so I apologize, but I do want to acknowledge the 29 participants that came on the retreat day. It's funny how that's translating. But they were absolutely dedicated, and many of them spent even more time because many of these participants also participated in the implementation meeting. So I want to thank all of those dedicated participants who gave up a full Saturday to do this work. Moving forward. So here I'm going to slow, and I'm going to draw attention to the revised mission and vision that was created as a result of that retreat. The mission of the Taylor School District is that we will create a welcoming and innovative learning environment that nurtures the whole child, empowering every student to thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. The new vision we're asking the Board of Education to consider and approve this evening is educate with purpose, engage with passion, empower the future. The vision is something that often you'll see on letterhead, it's on websites, it's on all of the communications because it's clear, it's concise, and it really messages what Taylor School stands for. I know that the group was especially proud of that because it really had strong verbs: educate, engage, and empower. And so they were proud to bring this forward to the Board of Education for consideration as the new vision of the Taylor School District. And of equal importance are the belief statements. And so we did a lot of thinking about what it is we wanted to put forward to the public about what it is that Taylor schools believe. And these are really strong, important statements. The group committed to this notion that we believe all students can learn and succeed. We believe all students have a right to a safe and positive learning environment. We believe success is built on a culture of collaboration. We believe in developing a strong mindset of resiliency, integrity, and respect for all. We believe that that students and families are partners in setting meaningful goals that inspire a commitment to lifetime learning. We believe that success comes from an engaged and supportive community. We believe in the importance of equity to ensure all students have the resources and support to succeed. And finally, we believe in developing individuals who are independent thinkers. So all totaled, those 3 things, the new vision, the new mission, and the new belief statements, are what we are going to be seeking you to consider and hopefully approve as a part of the next 5 years for the strategic plan and for the Taylor School District. Additionally, for your consideration and hopeful approval, we are putting forth these key goal statements that will guide the district moving forward. The Taylor School District will increase academic performance and the graduation rate to meet county benchmarks. The Taylor School District will expand mental health support for staff and students, including access to resources, training, and personnel to foster a healthier and more supportive work and learning environment. The Taylor School District will create a communication policy that will outline expectations and lists of available tools to our staff, students, and families to promote student success and improved district communication. The Taylor School District will prioritize strategic hiring processes, efficient procedures, and comprehensive onboarding to attract and retain highly qualified staff. And finally, the Taylor School District will improve the appearance and functionality of the district's resources. So you will see that these 5 goal statements are here, and they encompass 5 key areas of the system, the Taylor School District system. And these will stand the test of time over the next 3 to 5 years over the course of the intended lifespan of this current strategic plan. These goal statements will be lasting. However, the priority objectives will change year in and year out, because what we accomplish on the to-do list to make those goal statements our future reality will shift, because hopefully throughout this process, we're going to be growing into and making these statements become our new reality. And so this is meant to be a dynamic plan, one that is clear in guiding the district for the next 3 to 5 years, but also is changeable and malleable, because as each year passes, theoretically, when accountability is built into the process, we are making strides to make that vision, mission, and belief statement our reality. Our current state will be more in line with these goals. And that's the whole purpose of having a strategic plan, because it provides a clear roadmap for the next 3 to 5 years. These are things that we were able to accomplish as a result of that 8-hour retreat. But then if we flip to the next slide, we'll talk about what we did in the implementation meeting. Here is an outline of the agenda for that day. Keep in mind it was 4 hours of work, but still a lofty agenda nonetheless. We spent time reviewing the process so we could ground ourselves in where we came from to where we were that day. We reviewed the vision, mission, and belief statements and the goal statements. And then we really had to dig deep to start looking at, if this was going to be our reality, what did we have to accomplish in year 1 in order to make that happen? And so the implementation workshop is just that. It is the plan, the workshop, the planning session to determine, if we are implementing this, what does it actually look like? What are the actual to-do lists that we're going to use and commit to in each of those 5 goal areas in order to live into this new strategic plan? So if you move to the next item, we're going to outline this. And I want to be super clear. So you have 5 goal areas, and in green, that's goal area 1. You have a goal for academics and programs. And then there's a very specific statement that came out of all of that data that was examined. And the statement is that Taylor Schools is going to increase academic performance and the graduation rate to meet county benchmarks. That goal statement will live for the life of the strategic plan. But what comes underneath of it that says priority objectives, that's for year 1. Okay, so those bullet points there, priority objectives to look at class size reductions, to offer more diverse secondary electives and AP classes based on student interest, and to implement a comprehensive multi-tiered system of support structure. These are priority objectives for year 1 to support the strategic goal statement for goal area 1, which is academics and programs. Moving to the next slide. Goal area 2 is around culture and learning environment, again in green. Those will stay for the life of the strategic plan. And specifically using that data, we determined that the goal statement for that area would be to expand mental health support for staff and students, including access to resources, training, and personnel, to foster a healthier and more supportive work and learning environment. That will live on for the life of the strategic plan. But again, the priority objectives there are 2 are for year 1. So the implementation team felt that the very first step in making that goal our reality was to screen students for mental health needs and use data to guide decisions and align resources, and to communicate available resources to staff, ensuring confidentiality and providing training on how mental well-being strengthens workplace culture and student outcomes. Okay, moving on to goal area 3. Keeping in mind there are 5 goal areas. The reason there are 5 is because the strategic plan should, if it's done well, should hit the key areas that a school district serves. So we have academics and program, culture and learning environment, personnel and leadership is the next goal area. Specifically, the goal statement, prioritize strategic hiring process, efficient procedures, and comprehensive onboarding to attract and retain highly qualified staff. Again, that goal statement is there for the length of the strategic plan, but the priority objectives listed here are year one. To clarify procedures for interviewing and hiring, and to find appropriate online programs to support HR in their hiring processes. Okay, we're getting the hang of how this is structured, so we're moving on to goal 4. This is the area around communications and community engagement. The specific goal statement that will live on for a while is to create a communication policy that will outline expectations and lists of available tools to our staff, students, and families to promote student success and improved district communication. For year 1, the implementation team identified 3 things on their to-do list for year 1. They want to survey the community, they want to update the employee handbook, and they want to update the district website and their communication tools. And then certainly last but not least is goal area 5, which is operations. The strategic goal statement for operations that will live on for 3 to 5 years is to improve the appearance and functionality of the district's facilities. Okay, and the priority objectives for year 1, improve building curb appeal and roof replacements. So you can see it's big picture, more narrowly focused, and then drilled down to year 1. Behind the scenes, there's an even more drilled down document that actually maps out by quarter, so every 3 months, what will be accomplished in order for year 1's objectives to become real. So you have the umbrella, you have the next step, you have drilled down, you have drilled down. So that essentially, as Mr. Wagner moves through his leadership in planning with you all to set the goals for next year, if this strategic plan is approved, then you have a clear path forward. Setting the district goals, the goals for the year, setting your superintendent goals becomes relatively easy because if you follow the strategic plan, it's very clear on what the priorities are. And this guides you, it helps to keep everybody singing from the same song sheet, and it keeps everybody in alignment. So if you could move to the next slide. Tonight, we're specifically asking the Board of Education to approve the new mission, vision, and belief statements and the goal statements. Those are the things that will be the strategic plan for the next 3 to 5 years. The priority objectives, as I indicated, are dynamic and they will continue to kind of evolve year in and year out. So that leads me to my next piece, which is the next slide. That MASB, me, your facilitator of the strategic plan, deeply want you to be successful. We want this plan to become a living, breathing document that truly guides Taylor schools. Too often, strategic plans are too big, too many goals in a binder that collects dust on a shelf. This is intentionally created in a way that's easy to follow, easy to focus on, and keep in the forefront of the work. But like anything, systems are busy, experiences are dynamic, and sometimes it's hard to stay on course. So we highly recommend that each year of your 3 to 5 year strategic plan, you do a yearly implementation meeting. So that 4 hours where you come together and you're only focused on taking stock of where we got for the previous year and identifying new priority objectives for the next year is key to staying the course. I do that often with strategic plans. I come back for year 2 and then I come back for year 3. And inevitably, there are areas where lots of progress is made, and sometimes there are goal areas where not as much is made. That's okay, because we keep trying and we keep moving forward. So we do recommend that. The other thing is this aligns with the MyKIP process. For those of you that don't know MyKIP that may be in the audience, it's the Michigan Continuous Improvement Plan, formerly School Improvement. And annually, school districts must submit these plans in order to be in compliance with state expectations. Instead of having two separate plans, a school improvement plan or a continuous improvement plan and a strategic plan, the MASB strategic plan blends beautifully into the MyKIP expectations so that all of it can be in alignment. It also helps to guide budget, which you were just talking about. It really gives that roadmap. And it will continually, hopefully, create opportunities for stakeholder input and provide a clear plan forward. So we do recommend that you think about renewal for year one, which in this case would be springtime of next year of 2026, which would be where we would be coming to the end of year one and taking stock of how well we did. The beauty of your plan is that it coincides with the school year. So when the year one ends, a school year will naturally be coming to an end. And then you have an opportunity to regroup and restart. Not all systems do it this way, but this makes a lot of sense. And then what I want to point out before you move on to the next slide is the other document that is there is what we call the two-pager. In this case, it's on one piece, front and back. This is designed to be a one-stop shop for referring to the strategic plan. It can be put on websites. It can be put in schools. It can be used as a promotional tool, a communication tool of what it is that you all stand for. And you will see that on the second page of this summary document, it has the goal statements that will live on for the life of the strategic plan, but clearly stated first year objectives. So if you do a second year implementation, it'll say second year objectives and be revised to reflect the new to-do list, if you will, for second year. So that is provided to you as well. And so at this time, I want to just say thank you. If you can move to the last slide. I would like to say thank you to all of you for giving me the opportunity and trusting me with the process to facilitate and engage with your community. As always, it is a true pleasure to work with Taylor Schools. And on behalf of MASB, I want to thank you. Truly collaborating with the Taylor School District, the Board of Education, administration, staff, and the entire community really has illustrated your level of care for the schools, the community, and most of all, your kiddos. It was beautiful to see them getting their awards. I wish I could run half that distance. I really don't care for running, but I was super proud that they love it. Your kids are beautiful, and they deserve a plan that guides their system forward. So thank you for the opportunity. And if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Dr. Kaminsky.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Thank you again.
We have the K-5 ELA curriculum, Stacy Vespremi. Oh, was it? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed you, Chris. You're next.
All right. So this year one of our things in athletic department we wanted to improve was our weight room facilities at the high school. We need to make them more user friendly for not just PE, but for our athletes and our female athletes. Some of the studies and questions we asked a lot of our girl athletes is, why don't you use weight room? Why is this? And same response came up numerous times. Dirty, dungy, stinky, all those special things I like to say. So we sat down as a group of coaches. I sat down with the PE teacher, Ian and Becky, and also Dr. Antea, a couple other people that have experience in, weight room knowledges. I even asked Mr. Gerbil a couple of questions on the type of flooring that we would like to go with. So going through the process, we put the bid out publicly. Edwina helped me with that. We got back some responses and some prices. What we were looking for is something that's more than a 1/2 inch thick, that can lay down and can take a beating. Talking with other ADs in the league at our AD meetings, one thing, some of the veteran ADs recommended to me was to make sure that, you know, when they come in with that one solid piece, they come in, they laser it, and they put a big thick and they lay it out as one piece. The problem they had with that was if you do get a cut or a tear and something like that, then you got duct tape and blue duct tape, and then, you know, you're coming up with these different schemes to try to make it look nice. But they come out with this really thick 2x2 interlocking channels, not the stuff that you see at Home Depot, or if you go to a weight room fitness store where you lay down yoga, not that type. These are heavy duty locking mats that will interlock. And ours, right about 4,000 square feet is our weight room. And if you've been in our weight room here at the high school, it's not just a simple square or rectangle. It zigzags, and you should see these guys coming here giving quotes or scratching their heads with these laser beams, trying to figure out the exact footage and how many cuts to make. And so it's a little comical for me because I knew what they were going through. So we decided that we would like to go with First Class Flooring. They're a local flooring company that is here in the area. One thing I liked about them is that, you know, the price was basically the same. They're actually a little cheaper. And the one thing about their bid too is that they didn't have any open-ended, you know, any open-ended monies that could be coming later. Siding, this, a lot of the bids came in. We have to determine. Well, I like to know how much that is. So, First Class Flooring definitely seems to be the way we want to go. It's in the budget that I have for athletics. When I sat down at the beginning of the year and I tried to piece together what our needs and wants were, and this was a definite need. And it's not just for the athletic department too, it's for all the kids and the students in the school, especially with our PE, you know, as many kids that we have in our gym classes right now, being a former PE teacher, you know, we need that extra space to be able to have boys and girls to be able to go in there and utilize this. And my future goal for next year is that I'm working in the budget to try to improve all our weight room equipment. So that's coming hopefully soon. So I just would like to get you guys' blessing on moving forward with this project and starting to see a new athletic facility all come into play.
Are you not concerned that you're gonna go ahead and spend this amount of money and get the floor when the high school is gonna be renovated? Or remodeled?
Well, from my understanding, quote me if I'm wrong, they're not gonna do anything in the gym area or in the weight room area. This is, if I already have the money in my budget, I'd rather use it. God, that I would have lost it, I guess you would say, but this is what I've been budgeting for. There's a lot more, if it is getting renovated, there's a lot more we can do in that area. So that would be definitely another.
I hate to see you spend 40,000
Mhm.
if that's gonna be all torn up in a year.
Yeah, and I'll say to clarify, in the original kind of plan that the collaborative put together when they were just doing that rough kind of plan for you guys to see. Yeah, the gym and the weight room and stuff was not touched in
Okay.
that, but that's not to say you're absolutely right. If we were to bring on Barton Mallow, who presented at the cow meeting today, and they make an assessment and say like, oh, I think you should touch those things. It's very real that plan could change, but you are right, Chris, in the original, that was not.
Right.
Not
Well,
what we put out there.
Is it possible to like rearrange it?
Yes,
pull
so
it
the
out
good-
and rearrange it and
Right, the
stuff?
good thing about having these, the two 2x2 interlocking is that eventually it takes a lot to pull them up, but we can pull them up, stock them and put them in a different facility and any of our other stuff.
Down.
No, not once it's down. It's hard to get back up because they will interlock, and when they butt up against the wall and you're gonna have all this weight and equipment on them, they're not moving. But the good thing is we say, hey, you know what? We're gonna redo this, blow this wall out, do this. We can get them up, stack them up on a pallet, take, store them and put them in the other places. Like my goal is, well, I have no problem doing it.
They're
So.
not gluing those down, are they, Chris?
No, it won't be a glue. It would actually be, the only thing that might be a glue will be interlocking in some of the crevices in between, so it don't
So it
contract the
doesn't
dirt.
pop up.
Yeah, so it won't pop up, yeah.
Okay.
But these things are so heavy and so it's like they brought me a sample and I'm just like holding, I go, okay, this ain't what I saw at Home Depot for sure, but.
Yeah.
But what I like about it too is that we'll be able to, if that does happen, we can move it. And I also want to try to give a little bit more love to the middle schools too, to try to get them, like I know Hoover, the upstairs part, I talked with Mr. Hall about taking some of our equipment, that if I hadn't get new equipment to put it up there. And also too, this interlocking thing too, we do decide that we do have extra, we can take and use that up there also. So,
And Just a quick question. How long is this bid good for?
He gave, I think, 30 days from they just redid them last 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So it's good for 30 days. We work with also BSN. And then there's a couple other companies that I physically talked to on the phone. And, of course, they try to sell you the phone stuff, and I got educated on what we needed and what we should have, so.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Chris. All right, now we'll move on to Stacy. Talking about K-5 ELA curriculum.
Honestly, as a quick aside, we have a lot of female-friendly gym equipment that's just waiting for that floor to be installed. Because they didn't want to install it all and have to move it all with the new flooring. So that's a very exciting prospect moving forward. So for business, by business. So on behalf of the Taylor School District, I recommend that the board approve the purchase of the MyView literacy materials and resources for grades K-5 from Savas Learning Company in the amount of $828,896.50, along with professional development services for implementation in the amount of $82,750. This recommendation is based on the district's need to adopt a Tier 1 elementary literacy resource. So again, when we're talking about that multi-tiered system of support, this is the universal. All the kids will be getting these literacy resources. And these resources align with the current research on language acquisition and reading skills. In addition, it also addresses our urgent need to replace our current resource that is no longer in production. So the recommendation did follow the required contractual curriculum and adoption process, including a formal pilot, teacher vetting and feedback, review and approval by the teacher curriculum teams, as well as our competitive bid process in compliance with the board procurement policy, and that was held on May 29th. Now, knowing that amount of money, we are looking to leverage our state and grant federal funds to support this adoption. One of those funds is Section 35J Literacy Grant, and we were awarded $810,680 through that grant. And that was to support literacy practices pre-K through grade 5 that included professional learning services and adoption of any resources. To date, we've had over 80% of our elementary teachers trained in our intervention services, a program called UFly, which is foundational literacy skills. And so with the remaining money, we are estimating around $500,000. We have a couple more teachers to put through summer training. So we'll be able to offset that initial cost of the adoption with about $500,000. In addition, the state just came out actually this week with a second literacy grant called 35M. So the remaining costs for the adoption and associated professional learning, we anticipate to be funded through this grant. This is a $87 million grant from the state of Michigan to enhance literacy of structures that align to the science of reading. And that funding, again, is for Tier 1 resources, interventions, and professional learning. If by chance we require any additional funds, we have our 31A at-risk funds to fund those literacy initiatives and our Title II professional development. So we're looking to make sure that this funded project does not hit any general funds at all. What questions might you have?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Now we're gonna go over the parent handbook and student code of conduct revisions. Mr. Gribble.
Good evening.
Right.
Thank you, Board of Education, for the opportunity to present on this, and actually I'm presenting on behalf of the team that did this. Okay. I'm here this evening to present and seek approval for the proposed updates to our district's code of conduct. These updates were developed through a collaborative effort involving 6 sessions, each lasting an hour and a half. The review team included Assistant Principal Mrs. Trainer, Mr. Burnett, Dr. Antea, Mr. Bibby, and Mrs. Rattay, along with the Dean of Students, Mrs. Thomas, and Mr. Jason. The primary focus of this work was to modernize the vocabulary and terminology within the Code of Conduct to reflect current day language and to enhance clarity and consistency across this document. In addition, the language updates, the team addressed several key areas to better align the code with present day student behaviors and administrative practices. Specifically, examples include the term vaping was added to address the prevalent student concern. Out of assignment area has been included to better define location-based expectations. The terminology of fighting and physical assault have been clarified to distinguish between the two more effectively. And language concerning physical contact with staff members has also been refined for clarity and consistency. It's important to note that the procedural references such as MTSS, PBIS, and the 7 factors that we use for identifying students for discipline hearings and our Taylor School District practices were not modified. However, the placement of some of the sections have been adjusted to improve the overall flow and readability of the document. We believe these updates will support clear communication, more consistent application of the code, and a better understanding among students, staff, and families. The team thanks you for your time and consideration, and we respectfully request the board's approval of these updates.
I'm so tempted to say, huh?
Did I read it too fast again?
Any questions?
And the one thing I do want to note and add about this, you'll notice that we did not put a date on this, so we do not have to approve this every year unless there's a necessary modification. So we just put it down at the bottom and it's revised going on for this year, knowing that the state is looking at a proposed state policy on cell phones. We're waiting for that to come through, so that way if it's something we just need to modify, we just modify and approve it there versus to have to bring this before everybody every year to the board to approve. So it will be an ongoing living document unless we have to make modifications to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Pat, employee termination.
Employment law does permit us from detailing employee information in public. However, there is a resolution in your packet for you to review with the information.
Any questions? Okay, the auditor engagement letter, the next 4 things I'm gonna put on to Dr. Hill, so have at it.
Okay, we are requesting permission to use Taylor and Morgan again as our auditors. The cost for this year is going to be $37,000, and that cost is detailed on page 7 of the engagement letter. And we will also be billed $3,500 for single audit programs that have to be audited. And this year, that is grant awards over $700,000. And then next year, it's going to be grant awards over $1 million. So that's good. So this year, it's a lower threshold, but next year, the state has changed that threshold.
Thank you. Questions? Did you run through all of the things on there? Or well, you did?
No, I am.
I don't remember the, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yep. Just go ahead and go on to the next one when you're finished.
Okay. And I have already presented our tax rate for the current year, the L 4029. And I am just requesting board approval for that, as well as the 24-25 budget amendment. And then also our insurance coverage renewal through Maisel, what you have in your packet, which is about $513,323 this year. And we did have a small reduction from this year versus last year. Last year, it was about 540,000. This year is 513,323, and it's due to old claims falling out of the way that they rate different districts in terms of what they charge us.
Questions for Dr. Hill? Seeing none, we'll move forward with Mike. You can have the next 3.
So in your packets and in communications I've had in my updates to the board, I have provided you with updated contracts that we are bringing forward for our exempt employees, particularly our cabinet members. I want to clarify, I know I've said this in the communications that I've sent to the board, but I really want to clarify, so that everyone has this understanding that in recent years, there was a lawsuit that was brought forward by a Michigan superintendent about how they received and how they were treated when they went through the retirement system upon their retirement. It took many, many years for that lawsuit to sort out, and it doesn't just affect, let me clarify, it doesn't just affect our cabinet members, but it also affects any exempt employee. So that would even possibly potentially be our exempt secretaries who work in the HR department, my administrative assistant, like it could potentially affect any of those positions. There was finally a ruling that came through the Michigan Supreme Court, and that ruling had ruled in favor of the superintendent who had the issues upon retirement. So the guidance that has legally come out at this point is that when you have exempt employees, they should at somewhere in their contract have a set salary schedule. And it should be a table, it should be something that's clearly defined. And a lot of places, including us and many other places, that was not common practice for these positions. So this was a big impetus of why we wanted to go and make sure that we were doing this and making sure that this wasn't going to be a hiccup for any of these employees when they get to their retirement. I just want to clarify that, so that's out there. The other information, like I said, I know I've communicated it often in updates and emails, and you have that in your packet for review. And that kind of goes to, actually, the next one is right after that is also it's a employment contract for administrative assistant for HR as well, and that falls under that same category of the work we've done there. So I'll go on to my third one. Also in your packets tonight, you do have the schedule of the calendar for board meetings for next school year for your approval. And this is just, we're approving, it's staying the same where we are going to be on Wednesdays. I do want to point out, much like what we ended up adjusting it to this year, I did ask that we move the public budget hearing up to the first June meeting. I think traditionally we always did it at the second June meeting, but I wanted to, just like this year, to have time for the board to digest, kind of go over what they were presented with, and then get that final approval 2 weeks later. So that's kind of why we have kind of scheduled that in there that way next year as well. I think it's just a better operating way to give everybody the appropriate time to see things and to know what's going on.
Did you want to talk about the committee meetings and the board meetings?
Oh, yeah, thank you. So one of the other things that we are doing with the schedule, I almost forgot. Reminded me. We have really been putting forward this concept that this board has made it very clear, and I'm very supportive of this thought process, that they want time to be able to see, read, ask questions, make sure they're doing their due diligence as the public servants that they are. So I'm proposing we kind of restructure how we do the board meetings so that that first board meeting every month is always committee of the whole. It is going to be where we bring forward anything that needs to get done in the next month. We have that discussion, we have that there, and then the actual approvals go to the next part. There's going to be some exceptions and some hiccups because we all know there are timely things sometimes that have to go on with that committee of the whole. Say it's a field trip, and I'll use the example from last meeting. We have the young lady who qualifies for the state track championship, and we have to get that together and we have to get that approved. Well, obviously, we're going to still go ahead and put that kind of action into the committee of the whole. But for the most part, the bigger things, the idea, the concept is we really have that discussion piece 1 week, and then the other, it's much more just down to business, take the votes. And
I don't see how the example you gave would be a part of the committee of the whole.
You can, and correct me if I'm wrong, like you can take action at committee of the whole. That's happened before where there has been action.
Oh, so you're saying no board meeting, but just the committee of the whole meeting?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes,
I had it
yes, yeah.
backwards.
And if there is an emergency, some weeks we
Correct.
can always take action on it, but
Yeah.
for the most part, more of a communication, keeping
Yeah.
everybody on the board informed and having.
And I would say not just the board, but I think it's an
Yeah,
opportunity for
exactly.
the community to actually
Absolutely.
hear all that discussion, have time for themselves to digest it, and then 2 weeks later, we take the action. I know this is gonna require a lot on our end as the administration to make sure we're organized and we have our stuff together and we gotta get things rolling, but that's what we'll commit to as well, so that we can have this, better communication process. Better time.
Any questions for Mike? Okay, we'll move on to the ICE resolution.
That would be
Kathy.
me.
Huh?
I said that would be me.
Yep, that's you.
We had decided as a board to start looking into, a resolution since the city of Taylor has chosen to enter into the updated federal agreement with the federal government. And we are the only municipality in the state of Michigan that has entered into this agreement. The feeling of the board that I achieved was that they do not support this action. I personally think it jeopardizes our community relationship. I think it's a safety issue to me. Because the agreement is so totally different than what the original agreement was. So Linda and, Corey and myself worked on the resolution. Then Mr. Morris took it to MASB and had them look at it. And, then when it came back to me, I sent it on to the, district's council and he critiqued it so that we're not leaving any stone unturned here. We would like to see the resolution pass, and then my strong suggestion would be that Ms. Moore and or Mr. Morris, being our president, vice president, go to the next city council meeting and read this in open session. So, but I don't have to read it now, right?
When we get to the actual,
Action item.
action item, that would be,
Or, no, Corey gets.
yeah, it's like,
he's
Corey,
secretary.
hey, lucky you, Corey.
No questions?
Okay, any questions for Kathy? Seeing none, let's move on to public comment. Anybody wishing to address the board with regard to any of the issues we discussed during discussion items? Seeing none, we will, nobody online? Okay. Now we'll move on to action items.
Okay. First action item, strategic plan. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the 2025 strategic plan. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Block. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Moore. Ms. Fields. Ms. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Mordarcy is excused. Mr. Morris is a yes. Ms. Schufelt is excused. Mr. Westfall.
Yes.
Ms. Block.
Yes.
Carries 5-0. Taylor High School weight room flooring bid, policy number 6320. It is recommended the Board of Education approve and award contract for the Taylor High School weight room flooring to First Class Flooring in the amount of $40,650. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Block. Is there support?
Second.
Second by Mr. Westfall. Okay, Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Mordarcy is excused. Mr. Morris is a yes. Ms. Schufelt is excused. Mr. Westfall.
Yes.
Ms. Block. Ms. Fields. Carries 5-0. K-5 ELA curriculum. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the purchase of the MyView literacy materials and resources for grades K-5 from Savas Learning Company in the amount of $896.50, along with professional development services for implementation in the amount of $82,750. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Moore. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Fields. Mr. Mordarcy is excused. Mr. Morris is a yes. Ms. Schufelt is excused. Mr. Westfall.
Yes.
Ms. Block.
Yes.
Ms. Fields.
Yes.
Ms. Moore.
Yes.
Carries 5-0. Parent Handbook and Student Code of Conduct. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the revisions to the Parent Handbook and Student Code of Conduct. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Block. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Moore. Mr. Morris is a yes. Ms. Shufelt is excused. Mr. Westfall.
Yes.
Ms. Block. Ms. Fields.
Yes.
Ms. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Mardarcy is excused. That carries 5-0. Number 5, employee termination. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the resolution terminating Thomas Mitchell's employment with the district effective May 9th, 2025. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Fields. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Moore. Ms. Shufelt is excused. Mr. Westfall.
As a past, union vice president, who I represented this person before this employee, I want to exempt from the vote on this, abstain from the vote.
Okay. Ms. Block.
Yes.
Ms. Fields.
Yes.
Ms. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Darcy is excused. I am a yes. So that is 4-0 with a excuse. Okay. Auditor engagement letter. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the Taylor and Morgan auditor engagement letter for the year ending June 30th, 2025. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Moore. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Fields. Mr. Westfall.
Yes.
Ms. Block.
Yes.
Ms. Fields.
Yes.
Ms. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Mardarski is excused. Mr. Morris is a yes, and Ms. Shufelt is excused. That carries 5-0. 2025 tax rate request, L-4029. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the 2025 tax rate request form L-4029. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Fields. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Moore. Ms. Block.
Yes.
Ms. Fields.
Yes.
Ms. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Mardarski is excused. Mr. Morris is a yes. Ms. Shufelt is excused. Mr. Westfall.
Yes.
That carries 5-0. 2024-2025 Budget Amendment Policy Number 6850. Be it further resolved that no Board of Education member or employee of the school district shall expend any funds or obligate the expenditure of any funds except pursuant to appropriations made by the Board of Education and in keeping with the budgetary policy of the board. Changes in the amount appropriated by the board shall require approval of the board, and be it further resolved that the superintendent is hereby charged with general supervision of the execution of the budget adopted by the board and shall hold the department heads responsible for performance of their responsibilities within the amounts appropriated by the Board of Education. And in keeping with the budgetary policy of the board, this appropriation resolution is to take effect on June 4th, 2025. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Fields. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Moore. Ms. Fields?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Mardarski is excused. Mr. Morris is a yes. Ms. Shufelt is excused. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
Ms. Block?
Yes.
Carries 5-0. Insurance coverage renewal. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the insurance coverage renewal through Gallagher in the amount of $513,323. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Moore. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Fields. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Mardarski is excused. Mr. Morris is a yes. Ms. Shufelt is excused. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
Ms. Block?
Yes.
Ms. Fields?
Yes.
Carries 5-0. Contract renewal, Assistant Superintendent for Elementary Curriculum and Instruction. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the 2-year contract renewal of Miss Emily Graham for the position Superintendent for Elementary Curriculum and Instruction for 12 months. Effective July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2027, salary for the position will be $140,372 for the 2025-2026 school year and $143,372 for the 2026-2027 school year. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Block. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Moore. Mr. Mordarski is excused. Mr. Morris is a yes. Ms. Shufelt is excused. Mr. Westfall.
Yes.
Ms. Block. Ms. Fields.
Yes.
Ms. Moore.
Yes.
That carries 5-0 with an asterisk. A contract renewal, Assistant Superintendent for Secondary Curriculum and Instruction. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the 2-year contract renewal of Mr. Jason Gribble for the position Assistant Superintendent for Secondary Curriculum and Instruction for 12-month periods, effective July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2027. The salary for the position will be $140,372 for the 2025-2026 school year, and $143,372 for the 2026-2027 school year. Is there a motion? Motion by Ms. Block. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Moore. Mr. Morris is a yes. Ms. Shufelt is excused. Mr. Westfall.
Yes.
Ms. Block.
Yes.
Ms. Fields.
Yes.
Ms. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Mordarski is not here. Excuse me. That carries 5-0. They're getting long-winded. Contract renewal, Chief Financial Officer, CFO. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the 2-year contract renewal for Dr. Edwina Hill for the position Chief Financial Officer, CFO for 12-month periods effective July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2027. Salary for the position will be $138,423 for the 2025-2026 school year and $141,423 for the 2026-2027 school year. Is there a motion? Motion by Ms. Block. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Moore. Ms. Shufelt is excused. Mr. Westfall.
Are you gonna keep your conversation for the 3 minutes?
Yes.
Okay, I'll vote yes.
Ms. Block. Ms. Fields. Ms. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Mordarski is excused. Mr. Morris is a yes. That carries 5-0. Contract renewal, Executive Director for Human Resources and Labor Relations. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the 2-year contract renewal of Ms. Patricia DeLatour for the position Executive Director for Human Resources and Labor Relations, 12-month periods. Effective July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2027. Salary for the position will be $138,423 for the 2025-2026 school year and $141,423 for the 2026-2027 school year. Is there a motion? Motion by Ms. Block. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Moore. Mr. Westfall.
Yes.
Ms. Block. Ms. Fields. Ms. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Mordarski is excused. Mr. Morris is a yes. Ms. Shufelt is excused. That carries 5-0. Contract renewal, Administrative Assistant for Human Resources, number 1. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the 2-year contract renewal of Ms. Catherine Moses for the position Administrative Assistant for Human Resources, number 1, 12-month periods, effective July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2027. Salary for the position will be $61,312.68 for the 2025-2026 school year and $63,140.22 for the 2026-2027 school year. Is there a motion? Motion by Ms. Block. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Moore. Ms. Block? Ms. Fields? Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Mordarski is not here. Mr. Morris is yes. Ms. Shufelt is excused. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
That carries 5-0. 2025-2026 Board of Education meeting schedule, policy number 0154. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the Board of Education meeting schedule for 2025-2026, for the 2025-2026 school year. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Moore. Is there support? Support by Ms. Fields. Ms. Fields?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Mordarski is not here. Mr. Morris is a yes. Ms. Schufeld is not here. Mr. Westfall,
Yes.
Ms. Block.
Yes.
That carries 5-0. ICE resolution. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the ICE resolution. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Field. Is there support? Support by Ms. Moore. Ms. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Mordarski is not here. Mr. Morris is a yes. Ms. Schufelt is not here. Mr. Westfall.
Yes.
Ms. Block. Ms. Fields.
Yes.
That carries 5-0. Now I'm going to turn it over for the superintendent's report.
Thank you, everybody. First part of my superintendent's report, I'm just gonna keep really brief. I know we had our agenda meeting last Thursday, but then we had the policy meeting after that. So I'm gonna use this as my opportunity to give a policy committee meeting.
Read?
What's that?
Doesn't the resolution have to be read?
The resolution.
Yeah.
Doesn't have
We
to
need
be
to read
read.
it?
Read it on the record or?
You can read it for the record.
It's
real
to
quick.
be read on the record and then signed
Yeah.
for it to go to.
Yeah.
I can read it real quick.
I'll hold up on my part.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll it back, but everyone on the board has already reviewed but we were gonna read it for the public. Resolution from the Taylor School District, County of Wayne, State of Michigan. A meeting of the Board of Education of the School District, County of Wayne, State of Michigan was held on, is today the
Fourth.
4th, thank you. The 4th of June, 2025 at 6 p.m. This meeting was called to order by. Called to order.
We had.
Oh,
with all
by the,
of
by the
that
president, yeah. Okay, and so the following preamble and resolutions were offered by Member Fields and supported by Member Moore. No? Oh, okay. Whereas pursuant to Section 287G of the Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act of 1996, on April 23rd, 2025, the City of Taylor Police Department entered into an agreement with the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. And whereas pursuant to the public information available on ICE's website as of May 29th, 2025, the City of Taylor Police Department is the only law enforcement agency designated as a municipality in the state of Michigan to have entered into such an agreement with ICE. And whereas the updated agreement with ICE designates specific functions to the personnel of the Taylor Police Department, including but not limited to the following. 1, officers of the Taylor Police Department under direction of ICE will perform certain functions of an immigration officer, including the power to arrest and detain individuals for violations of immigration law, and the power to serve and execute warrants to arrest for immigration violations. 2, the City of Taylor will now be responsible for the salaries of the Taylor officers that are working with ICE on immigration cases. 3, ICE will now have access to the City of Taylor's IT system, which contains names, addresses, and contact information of city residents. Whereas North Lake Correctional Facility in Baldwin, Michigan is being reopened as an immigration detention center to house immigrants, including but not limited to the state of Michigan, and could include residents from the City of Taylor community. Now, therefore, be it resolved as follows. The board does not agree with or condone the City of Taylor or its police department's decision to enter into this updated ICE agreement. The board believes this agreement will be detrimental to the community. The board believes this agreement will jeopardize the physical and emotional well-being of Taylor children and their families. To ensure the safety and well-being of the Taylor community, the Board of Education requests that Mayor Woolley, the Taylor City Council, the City of Taylor Police Department, and Chief of Police John Blair terminate the 287G Immigration and Nationality Act agreement effective immediately. The board directs the City of Taylor and the City of Taylor Police Department not to engage in any functions on district property or with district students that the city, the police department, or its personnel or officers are authorized to engage in pursuant to the agreement with ICE. Let it be further resolved, the Taylor Board of Education will continue to educate, nurture, and protect all Taylor School District students and staff to the best of our abilities. This was passed with 5 A's from the current board members here and will be signed.
And I'm requesting that, you and Linda, go to the next meeting and read this,
Let me know when it is.
oh, I will.
Absolutely.
I'll be back in town, I think, Monday night or sometime Monday. I'll be back.
Well, they had,
I'm sorry?
they were supposed to have one last night. but
Oh,
didn't have a quorum,
I was
so.
at Barry Manilow last night, so.
Well, I will now return it to our superintendent for his wonderful update.
Absolutely. As I was saying, I want to take this moment at the beginning to give an update from the policy committee, because we did the agenda setting before we have the, what's that? Yeah, there's still public comment coming in the meeting, absolutely. Yep.
We haven't got to that part of the agenda yet.
No, but the stuff for agenda, the first part, what they're saying,
Oh.
some stuff that's on the agenda, but. All right, so the policy committee did have its latest meeting. The biggest portion of the policy committee meeting was dedicated to meeting with Neola. I've explained to the board before about Neola's role, that we contract with them to provide us updated policies based on legal changes, based on trends in other policies and those kind of items. So most of our time was spent going over that batch, and there will be another big batch of policy recommendations that will be coming forward. In addition to that, though, we did have a few local items where we wanted to make adjustments to our policy that were not necessarily suggestions that came from Neola. One of them, I know a couple board meetings ago, there was a resolution passed that we wanted to make sure that when employment contracts come up that are on these 2-year rolling agreements, that every year annually, there's the opportunity for it to come before the board, so the board is aware, and that they take the vote that it's still going to proceed and go that way. We had that discussion actually before our rep Craig from Neola left, and he actually was like, actually, I think I may have some templates of what is done in other places. So he is going to provide our committee at the next meeting with some templates that would be in line with what the board was looking for when that resolution was passed. So I'm pretty confident we'll have something in the coming days for that update from that resolution. The other ones from a local aspect that we were looking at, and it's the fact that we are going forward and working on the strategic plan at this point. We did do an analysis, or I shouldn't say we, I should say the finance committee did an analysis of purchasing policies in other districts, because, you know, ours currently states that any purchase that is less than $5,000 does not require 3 quotes, but if it's over 5,000 and under the state threshold, you have to go out and get 3 quotes for that product. When we reviewed other districts that were within that strategic planning process, those comparables we did, the finance committee came forward and said, you know, there were some that were 50% of the state threshold is what they set that as. Others were the state threshold, that basically anything under the state threshold, you could just go and not necessarily have to have bids. And then there were some that I think were at about $10,000. So the recommendation that the policy committee was working on was being in that compromise and putting it at 15,000 is where that comfort level was, which is roughly about 50% of the state threshold as currently, but that state threshold does adjust. So, and the only other one from the local aspect that we had talked about, it was kind of funny because Neola has an update to it. It's our field trips and transportation policy. But from a local aspect, we know there are times that unfortunately, due to market conditions, we can't always get transportation provided to some of our athletic programs. And there has been the need at times for parents to drive students to athletic programs. Where we feel our policy is currently lacking is that it really needs to reflect that that is a possibility that happens sometimes. So we're working on local language that would go along with Neola's updates to make that more reflective of the realities and make sure that, you know, our students are safe and protected by the policy that we put forward. So that's kind of the update from the policy committee. The other real quick things I have, I want to say, here we are, it's June, we are at that finish line for this school year. And I want to remind our secondary students, you're not quite there yet. You still have final exams next week. So secondary students at the middle school, high school levels, you have your exams Tuesday and Wednesday to wrap up this year. But we will have that final day of school on Wednesday. I recommend watching any communications from your students' buildings, from the specific schools, to have anything that they are doing specifically to wrap up the school year. I also want to put out there, we will be putting out to the community, the re-enrollment period for parents to go in and update their student information within MyStar. Last year, we switched this to a electronic process, and it took a little longer because in the first year, there's a lot more that they have to go in there and do. The beauty of it is in subsequent years, all the parent needs to do is go in and review what's in there. So what was a probably half hour to 45-minute process now is going to be a 5 to 10 minute process, because you're just clicking and going, yep, that's the same, we're good there. So, but watch for those communications to be coming out from your schools. This is the way it's done in my kids' school district, and I'm telling you, it makes it a lot easier. I don't miss the days of filling out 8 million emergency cards and forms and all that. It's going to be much smoother and much better this year now that it will be like a 5-minute process for people. And the last thing is, it is summer, so I want our students, our staff, our community, everybody to go out, have fun, relax, and most importantly, be safe with what you do this summer.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the consent agenda, policy number 0166.1 and policy number 6470. And this includes minutes from the regular board meeting of May 7, 2025, and consolidated items including payment of current bills, certified, non-certified, and administrative reports. Is there a motion? Was that Fields?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And then support?
Support.
Supported by Ms. Moore. Mr. Mordarski is excused. Mr. Morris is a yes. Ms. Schufelt is excused. Mr. Westfall?
Yes.
Ms. Block? Ms. Fields? Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Carries 5-0.
Okay, item scheduled for the next board meeting. Good news. I'm sure we'll have lots of things given it's the end of the school year. General public comment. Is there anyone wishing to address the board? You run up.
Oh, the scripts.
Okay, you gotta read that.
Oh, that's right. Before we start, I have a script. We have it in my hand, but was gonna forget. Welcome everyone. Yeah, you can sit till I'm finished. It's a lengthy script. Welcome everyone to the Taylor School District regularly scheduled board meeting of June 4th, 2025. Where our mission statement is to educate, engage, and empower those we serve. And our vision statement is that we will be the innovative destination district where all succeed. Thank you for all who came out to be with us tonight. We understand the importance of continuing to keep you informed and providing an opportunity for you to be heard. Public comment will begin with those in person and then move to our online audience. For those in person, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. After the in-person comment, our online audience will need to find and raise a symbol for our moderator to recognize and unmute you. Please take into consideration common courtesy. Refrain from any personal attacks and keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. We will provide and assist with timekeeping. So each guest will be able to monitor their own time and know when to conclude, so that all who wish to speak will have an equal opportunity to do so. As a reminder, if any questions arise during this meeting or through other avenues, Superintendent Wager or his designee will work to provide answers in a timely manner. Please note that the views and opinions expressed by individual board members are their own and do not necessarily represent the official position or the consensus of the Board of Education. All right, I think that is
Come on up.
Good statement, come on up.
Test, yes. My name is Michael Porter, address 18740 Gray Avenue, Allen Park. I've been thinking of what I want to say today regarding FIRST Robotics. I did do a handout explaining a very tip of the iceberg detail of what FIRST is about. But I guess I wanted to address who I am and why I'm here. Had thought about this. Basically, I'm submitting my name as lead mentor for the Taylor FIRST Robotics team, and I want to explain why. So, a little background. As I mentioned, I'm Allen Park resident. Been there for 33 years, happily married. I have 4 kids. My kids have gone through both the first Lego League and the FIRST Robotics progression while they were at school. All 4 have received college degrees in STEM related fields. All have paid off their school loans within 2 years of graduation. All 4 have black belt degrees in Taekwondo. I'll explain why. Me personally, I'm electrical engineer, operational manager at a company called DCS. I contract work to the Detroit Tank Arsenal under ground vehicle robotics division related to safety and autonomy development. I'm a graduate of Kettering or GMI in '89. It's one of the schools that we write or referral scholarships for the kids. I have 5 patents in the automotive field regarding self-correcting control systems and convertibles and sunroof systems. That's when I worked at American Sunroof, if you guys remember that. As far as my first or FRC experience, I've been a member of the Taylor team since 2003. Before that, I was the lead mentor at the Allen Park School, 2009 to 2019. And on top of that, I also managed Lego teams, first Lego Robotics, from 2005 to 2019. Of the teams that I coached during that time, we had 8 state qualifiers. While at state, 5 of the teams that I coached were awarded mechanical awards. 1 gracious professionalism, 2 judges awards. Also in Allen Park, I was the event coordinator for a Lego event called Downriver Robot Rescue, where we host 36 teams to compete in the same Lego events. I also was a world championship judge in 2018 for core values. Why the Legos? Why did I mention about Taekwondo? My kids went through that and they learned what you call tenets, values, behaviors within that group. And I sort of instilled that with our Lego teams. It had to do with self-respect, respect to others, indomitable spirit, or grit, as it's commonly called, integrity, and empathy. Those are the characteristics or values that I would instill to the high school team as well. With the Lego teams, that was my first, I guess, introduction to transparency and accountability in regards to funding, in regards to parent support, parent exposure, just making sure that they were always included in any of the decisions that were made with the team. As far as my measures of success, one thing that First always touts is that anybody participating in that event can go pro. Minimum requirement for me has always been that they become a meaningful member of the community. But in addition to that, I guess where I see ultimate success, if I have students that come back and they actually end up running teams like they are in Allen Park. I've had 5 students we're called First alumni that have graduated, gone to their profession, and have now come back, and they're actually running that team now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address the board?
Hello, Courtney Prout, 9846 Catherine, Taylor, Michigan, 48180. I'm speaking tonight again to follow up on multiple emails I've sent the Board of Education regarding the formation of the Sex Education Advisory Board. To this day, I have not received a single acknowledgement or response from any member on the board. These emails outline serious concerns about legal compliance with Michigan Department of Education guidelines, specifically that the SEAB must be approved by the Board of Education and must meet certain membership criteria. I was told by a sitting board member in this very room that the SEAB was not approved by the current board. If that is true, then the SEAB is operating without proper authorization, without public transparency, and potentially in violation of MDE state guidelines. This is not a minor oversight. It is a serious issue of legality, accountability, and public trust. When a parent raises clear and legitimate concerns respectfully and in writing, the board has a responsibility to respond. Ignoring those concerns does not make them go away. It just raises more concerns and questions about the transparency and the leadership among us. I am again asking for a clear explanation of how the SEAB board was formed, a list of who was involved in selecting those members, and the timeline and process on how principals were asked for candidates. It is very concerning that the board is continuing to move forward as if nothing is happening and no one's asking any questions.
Thank you.
Excuse me, can you come back up real quick? Can you tell me which board member informed you that that was the case?
Yeah, Kathy Fields.
Okay, thank you very much.
Problem.
Appreciate it. Yeah, we didn't vote officially on the board before.
Oh.
Any other? No, yeah, that is accurate. It wasn't disapproved either. We're just letting our administration do their jobs. If you would like to come up and continue talking, you can, but you have, okay. No.
We have a chain of command as well. When I can speak for myself. When I get a email from a parent, then I immediately contact Linda and Mike and say, what's going on? I don't reach out to the parent because that is day to day. That's that gentleman right there. That's his job.
So what is the point of public comments if there's no responses? This, not only one email, then I followed up again with that follow-up from the board meeting.
Emails, responses, and public comment.
Both. I mean, I had a public comment and then the next day received no response. So I waited. The following day, I sent a follow-up email on that response with my exact formation of what I said here. No response. And then I think it was 3 or 4 days later, I sent another follow-up to that follow-up and received no response. So this is public comment as well as multiple emails on the same topic, same questions with no response from anybody.
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you changed emails that you've been using? Because I have seen an email that was sent out in response from an administrative team member.
No, I don't. I use the email.
Double check it. We'll make sure it gets to the email that you last used with the board so that we're
Right.
very clear. But yes,
The-
one was sent. I will make sure that happens.
The email that I sent, the multiple emails I sent and the follow-up emails all came from this email address and to the Board of Education. So there was not an administrator on that email.
No,
There
I know
was,
that. Yeah. I'm
right.
clear.
And the only reason that there's a different email associated with me at all is because Emily Graham used an email from my signature line when I sent an email from my company. I forgot to remove my signature line. She responded to that email, but that is not the email that any of these emails were directed from to you guys.
No, I know,
No,
but we'll make sure it gets to the last one that was used because I know there was a drafted response. So we'll make sure it gets there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening, James Prout, 9846 Catherine. I wanted to take a moment to address something that was said after I spoke about the SEAB board, 2 weeks ago. It was mentioned that my comments made someone or the board themselves feel threatened, which kind of gets obvious as soon as somebody says something about, referencing legal language from the MDE. I want to be clear, there was no threat. I'm a parent advocating for transparency and accountability. If using the actual laws that govern our schools is seen as threatening or concerning, you're elected to be the voice of the community, and that includes me. I'm not here to fight. I'm here to make sure parents are heard, respected, represented as they should. And honestly, if being asked to research the law, inform us of our findings, whether they're guidelines or law or whatever it is, it's nobody's threatening with, this is the law and I know it because I'm a law professor. It's bringing up because we're trying to do our own research, partially because kind of what we get, I'm looking for an answer from the board on emails, not from the district and the board. We elected you to be our voice to the district. So it shouldn't be something drafted by the district as a response to my wife. It should be something from the board. I feel like if these are issues, maybe this isn't quite the position for you. You feel threatened by us asking questions.
And I apologize if I was the one that said that I was feeling threatened. It just felt like it was an attack, but neither here nor there at this point. We want to work with you. In terms of the, how we opt in or opt out. I mean, that's something I can remember filling those out for my kids, or throwing them away. Or doing that, 25, 30 years ago. And so I just kind of feel like if that's something that you want to see change, then that's something to bring to our attention. But, and like I said, it's been that way for so long. I remember when I was teaching, pulling them out, for the few kids. But yeah, I just was feeling like, instead of, and this is just my opinion, that, let's talk about it.
We
rather
tried
than.
to,
Yeah.
and then the answer we just got is going to be a drafted email from the district, not from the board. And I'm not.
That falls under the day-to-day
Yeah, that's
operations.
the
like
structure of
Abby
a school
said. It's
district.
not
According
really
to
our position to.
MASB, they don't
do that.
want the board.
They're not a government entity, so what they're saying, I mean,
Pardon me?
really, they're not a government entity, so they're not really, they can't really tell you, they
Is
can't,
the guideline that the board follows.
that the follows. They can't really tell you what to do.
Let's go through administration. You're telling me one thing, but I don't know if they've handled it. I don't know what it's about. I don't know their side of the story. So as a board member, I can't just reach out and say, oh, okay, I believe you, I trust you, the whole bit. Because we represent everybody, all of the kids, all the residents, but it is considered day to day to deal with these problems by the superintendent and his team. If he doesn't do it correctly, then the board
Yeah, then
holds
we
his
take
feet to
over.
the fire. It won't be publicly, no.
Excuse me, if you're going to address the board, you can come to the podium and wait your turn. Thank you.
Anybody online?
There are two people.
Okay, my computer's
Oh,
not
we got
working.
someone else.
so-
Oh, wait a minute.
Hi.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
My name is Shannon, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. And I am the chapter chair, president for Moms for Liberty, Michigan. I am very excited to be here to observe the school board. We have many parents in the community that are very concerned, and I was asked to come today, and I've been watching. A little intro to Wayne County Moms for Liberty is we are dedicated to fighting for this
Survival of America by unifying and educating and empowering parents to defend their parental rights at all levels of government. What we do is we hold decision makers accountable. There's parents are in distress. They are very worried about what's going on in the schools, their kids' literacy, safety, among other things. We are calling for transparency in this, all things related to parents and children. Parents' consent is important. Parents have the right to see, evaluate all the surveys, data collection, psychological profiling before they are administered to the Taylor students. And the parents have the right to opt out of any of all such testing, survey participation, data collection, medical examinations, and sex education. The Taylor Board must adhere to the Michigan law, including Michigan Law 380.10 and all of its practices. Parental rights are they're fundamental and a God-given right. The Taylor School Board, the administration, the employees should uphold the traditional partnership between teachers, students, and parents by directing, communicating with, and helping the parents in their education of their parents. Okay, and their children. School safety concerns. I was curious about the emergency operation plan, if that's been updated in the last 2 years. That's a big issue with schools and the safety of the children with the violence. There's the emergency operations plan we're looking at, and hopefully I saw the BOOT program out there, very good. That's a really good resource. Also, I am very concerned. I just want to give my 2 cents on the ICE resolution. I just want to imply that the school board really has no authority to try to rescind the chief's signature. That is kind of, you have to stay in your lane. I'm concerned with the safety of the students, like you are. We're all like thinking the same. But my perspective is, if you're teaching the students to disregard a police chief's order, it may be an acceptable standard for the kids to, promote that. So I would be really on the caution of that. Okay, it's not a good look for Taylor. That's probably it. You'll probably see more of me. I look forward to working with many of you. I work with a lot of parents all over the Michigan, and thank you so much for your opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And it wasn't an order, it was a resolution. You're done though.
Thank you,
Yeah.
but we call it a paper protest.
Anyone else wishing to address the board?
There's 2 online.
Do you have somebody online? Okay, go ahead, Courtney.
I have a question. So I just want to clarify things because if I email you, you're not going to respond. You claimed that she doesn't speak for everybody, but she told me that you guys did not vote on the SCAB board.
I didn't say that.
You did.
I said,
That she
I
doesn't-
asked you,
Mhm.
who told you that? And you told me Kathy, and I said, okay, thank you.
And then you mumbled a bunch of stuff when I was talking back that way and I didn't get it.
I
What I
thought,
thought-
so how'd you hear it?
So what I thought, you have a microphone in front of you, but what I thought you said was that she doesn't speak for all.
Excuse me, there are other people waiting to speak. Please go back to your seat.
Well, I'm asking, was this a?
There are
vote?
2 people waiting who haven't spoken online yet. Please go back to your seat. Please let the people online speak.
I've never cut off anybody, and I've said that, and I've never cut you off.
That's the exact word that Michael here.
There are people waiting online to speak. I literally, no. Can we go to the people?
Mr. Wager said that that he was under the impression that was, so could we let him check that out? I don't think he's. I'm sorry? It is tomorrow? Well, basically, the opt-in, opt-out is, is something that a discussion needs to be had about, because you brought it to the attention. I'm gonna tell you. I'm sorry. Thank you. We'll make sure you get a response.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll make sure you get a response. Okay, my computer's not working, so go ahead and let whoever. Oh, there is two,
There's three now.
three, okay. Can you let them in and stuff? I've got my computer's like,
They're unmuted, they're ready.
okay, go ahead. Who is the first one? Oh, Angel Thomas, okay. Angel Thomas, Mr. and Mrs. Thomas, you're now on.
Thompson or Thomas? Thomas, all right. Thomas. Thompson, that's what I
Oh,
wanted to
it's
clarify.
Thompson.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Are you addressing me, Representative Thompson?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, thank you. This is Representative Jamie Thompson. I'm state representative. I represent the southern portion of the city of Taylor here in the state of Michigan. I came on today to give you a legislative update of some things that we were working on and to hopefully get your support. It seems like this was a pretty interesting school board meeting to jump on. First, I'm going to talk about some of the legislative updates that I have for you. We are going to be voting on legislation that will ban cell phones in schools. I know this is a little bit of a divisive issue, but the intent is to support school policies on the banning of the cell phones so that we can keep the priorities to education and keep kids off the phone so that they're paying attention to their teachers. And we know some schools may have a policy. I'm hoping to look into your policy so that we can support your policy and give you the tools that you need to enforce those policies. The second thing that we are doing, I am working on a bill right now that is going to address class sizes in the state of Michigan that will have bipartisan support. The next thing, we have passed a huge school safety package that is a bipartisan package out of the House. And we are encouraging everyone to please reach out to the Senate and to the governor to pick up that legislation so that we can put this into effect. That was based on 2 years of a work group that involved both Republican and Democrat leaders after the Oxford shooting. Something else that I want to let you know is the House is passing a $12,000 increase per pupil. So right now, the Senate, I know you understand there's two sides of government, the House and the Senate. The House has a school budget that will give you $12,000 per student. The Senate has a budget that will give you $10,000 per student. We're encouraging you to reach out to Senate Democrats and to the governor to pass the $12,000 per student allotment. I want to talk a little bit about the data-driven strategic plan that included stakeholders, including government. I did not receive an invite to that. I would have loved to have participated in that. I have knocked hundreds of thousands of doors in the city of Taylor. And unfortunately, one of the major complaints coming from parents and families in the city of Taylor is their frustration with the school system. When you talk about the dark and the dismal classrooms, I heard that get talked about with one of the coaches. That is a big concern for theirs. They want to walk into a happy, pleasant school. So I want to be able to work with you guys on that. Something that I'm really concerned about is that strategic plans seem to be a little more staff-based than academic-based. And we know that we have to get our kids reading and writing, and they're falling behind tremendously. I've had so many complaints from parents that their IEPs are not being followed, that there's delinquency, there's truancy, there's no ability, security guards are walking off the job, girls are fighting in the hallways. It just seems like it's really out of control. And I'm letting you know that I am here to help you and work with you, anything that I can do. I am so glad to see that you are working on a strategy to help get that taken care of. I'm concerned about the sex board education thing. You have to be transparent with that. That is under Michigan compile law. That is part of the school code. And should we find out that that is not being done properly, you will be held accountable by the law. Something else, this ICE resolution. I didn't even know about this ICE resolution. I have to speak about it. I think that you just did a very bad thing. You literally just slapped the Taylor police in the face. The police officers that are on duty, risking their lives for the city of Taylor every single day. That resolution is extremely offensive to them. Number one, that is a federal law that they are supposed to enforce immigration. This is nothing new. It has been in effect into the 1990s. And Taylor is not the only state that has done this. The state of, or the city is not the only city that has done this. The city of Jackson also signed on to the agreement. It changes nothing. Actually, it provides more training for law enforcement and is more
Representative, that was the
supportive.
county of Jackson, not the city.
Pardon?
Over your 3 minutes. But thank you
Oh.
for joining us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Look forward to working with you.
Likewise.
Thank you. Next. We know who it is.
Yep, we have Caroline.
Good evening. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, Caroline, you're good.
Okay, I won't take up more than 3 minutes. I know it'll be less than 3 minutes, but I just wanted to let Mr. Morris and Ms. Moore know that the city council meeting was canceled last night. Today's Wednesday, right? Yeah, last night because of lack of quorum, and they've rescheduled the meeting for tomorrow at 5:30. I just wanted to give you that information. And in regard to the resolution that you would like to read to the city council, I also have read the information on that resolution, and it is not the same as the original resolution. It's like around 13 pages compared to 4 pages of what it used to be. So I know people are trying to be aware and trying to be, you know, stepping on eggshells and things like that. But I just want to let you know about the city council meeting being at 5:30, not 6:30, and it is tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One more?
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Hi, my name is Samantha Birchfield. I live at 7638 Polk Street in Taylor. I was there last week about the Taylor Robotics program, and I know that you guys aren't required to answer these questions, but I just wanted to ensure that these concerns were on record. And just wanted to ask if you guys were aware that there was an investigation into the robotics staff member that was in charge of the group. And then what is the policy and procedure regarding these types of investigations, such as like notifying parents that there is an investigation and about their children's safety and stuff like that?
So I'm gonna say some of these are very specific to an investigation that took place, so I will give you a call and talk to you about that individually and answer those questions.
Okay, do you know around when I can expect that?
Looking at my schedule, I'm gonna guess that it'll probably be within the middle of next week would be my guess based on what I have the next couple days.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? I believe that's, oh, this is you, Mr. Morris.
Okay, adjournment to closed session policy 0137.2 pursuant to Michigan's Open Meeting Act, being Public Act 267 of the 1967, excuse me, and as amended, I move the board convene in closed session pursuant to 8A, evaluation of employee, and 8C, negotiations. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Moore. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Ms. Fields. Mr. Morris is a yes. Ms. Schufelt is excused. Mr. Westfall.
Yes.
Ms. Block. Ms. Fields.
Yes.
Ms. Moore.
Yeah.
Mr. Mardarski is excused. That carries 5-0. We are going into closed session at 8:24 p.m.
Corey, why don't you go ahead and read hers?
Absolutely.
And for 5 hours, it's more than my volunteer time.
Okay, meeting has returned from closed session at 9:28. And okay, action after closed session. Action after closed session. I didn't get any. We have no actions after closed session. Okay, board member,
Board member comments. Anybody have any comments?
Yes, I do. We are getting close to the summer. And it was mentioned already that, by Mr. Wager, that everybody should concentrate on their end of the year studies. But as we go forward, I hope, I always talk about literacy. Literacy is very near and dear to my heart. So I would suggest if you've never visited the library, that you visit the library this summer. The park is there, so you can hang out and read a book under a tree. Learn something new this summer. That should be everybody's goal.
I'm handing out books in DC on Saturday to young children, underprivileged kids. Goes along with literacy. Thank you. Anyone else? And then I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion by Kathy Fields, support. Support by Mark Westfall.
Yes.
Block,
Yes.
Fields. Morris, yes. Mordarski is excused. Morris?
Yes.
And Shufeld, I'm not sure, because she wasn't at the meeting, so that's
She's
probably why she's not in here.
Yeah.
Okay, I figured that. It took me a while, but I did. I would have sat here all night waiting for her. That passes 5-0. We adjourn at, anybody know what time it is?
9:30.
9:30. Everyone have a wonderful evening.